की जय।
प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रेमानंदे
हरि बोल।
जय नीलो प्रेमदान।
Page 99.
Hello, Prabhu. Kamora Patayuga Kakopira Kamora Patayuga Kamora Patayuga Kakopira Kende Narottamada Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dharma. Love.
Hare
नित्यानंद प्रभु की प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सच्चिदानंद श्री गौरंग महाप्रभु की जय गौर शिवनाथ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Sing a kirtan, okay?
We have sung Guru Tattva, Vaishnava Tattva and Gora Tattva, so we can come to Radha Krishna Tattva.
Okay, right.
Jai Ho, Maharaj.
Where's the book? Let's have some fun. My water is trying to shrink it. Page 170, for those who have one of these books.
What's the name?
Radha Krishna Bol Bol. Radha Krishna Bol Bolo. Bolo Re Sobai. Radha Krishna Bolo. Krishna Bolo 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 Re Sobai. Radha Krishna Bolo 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 Re Sobai. E Shiksha Diya Sabna Diya Kirche Nirche Gornitai. Shiksha Diya Sabna Diya Kirche Nirche Gornitai. Shiksha Diya Sabna Diya Kirche Nirche Gornitai. Shiksha Diya Sabna Diya Kirche Krishna Bolo 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 Kunjakutira Govardhana Pavata Yamuna Tira What? Speak.
Make yourself a Krishna.
First of all, I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Diksha and Shiksha Guru. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Ata Tara Sata Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Then I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet, Hare Krishna, of my Shiksha and Sannyas Guru. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Ata Tara Sata Sri Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj.
Jai.
Then I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my two Shiksha Gurus, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Asatara Sata Sri Srimad Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj. I offer my most humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. I offer my most humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of the head of this assembly, Pujapad, Prem Prayojan Prabhu, unto all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. I remember in 1986, when my father died, I went to the funeral. It was in Brooklyn. And all these people showed up. People I'd never met. They were my father's friends. The kids who ran in the street with him when they were young. He played stickball and football and whatever they did, you know, in those days together as kids, and got in trouble and did all kinds of crazy things that kids do in Brooklyn. And I thought, I never met any of these people. I don't know them. Who are they? But they all had stories about my father. So, to some degree that was like that. I was a little bit fortunate. Very early on, Srila Prabhupada once told me, not out of any ego or boasting, but he said to me, he looked at me right in the eye. He said, you and I associated in the previous life, and we're associating now. So, there was something, I must have had some connection. I had had a dream that Bhaktivedanta Thakur gave me beads when I was a small boy. So I had some connection with these personalities previously. And so Srila Prabhupada, in our relationship and how he dealt with me and how he dealt with my associating with his previous friends and godbrothers, dealt with me differently. I remember him sending out this letter. No one should go to see my godbrother. Meanwhile, he sent me a letter. He said, go see my godbrother. I want you to talk to him. Okay. I told everybody not to see your godbrother. Now you want me to go see. So there was something about our relationship that I had with him, that he gave me access to these people. And so I got to know a lot of them as a youngster. Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, who was the guru of Srila Bharti Maharaj, and who I had a very close relationship with. And we held a program for Prabhupada's disappearance in Puri at the Purushottam Gaudiya Math, which was the place where Bhaktisiddhanta had his house. And that was the place where Bhaktisiddhanta sent the last letter to Srila Prabhupada. My instruction to you, that you should go to the Western countries and preach in the English language. This is my final instruction to you. And there's that letter, on the basis of that letter and the instruction that he got when he was first met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, that he carried out this mission, to go to the West and preach. And there was a chance for me to meet many of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers and other people. I had not met Srila Narayan Maharaj. I'd heard about him because he was famous. Amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, he was very famous. I remember reading one letter Prabhupada sent him. He said, amongst all the sevaks in Gaudiya Math, I think you are the best sevak in Gaudiya Math. So Srila Prabhupada had very high regard. He wrote another letter to Srila Narayan Maharaj. He said, when I first saw you, I had love for you the way my Guru Maharaj had love for me the first time he saw me. So it was a connection of love between the two of them that very, very deep, very, very intimate. And Srila Prabhupada, you know, he wanted to continue the mission that he had started. And so the people that he had some friendship with, some intimacy with, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj had an acharya that he appointed. He was not yet acharya because Bhaktivedanta Maharaj left after Prabhupada left. So, but he was the number one, he was secretary and assistant. And Srila Prabhupada once told him, I can see, his name was Srila Bhakti Ballabhatirtha Maharaj. He said, I can see that you received the full mercy of your Guru Maharaj. This is a very special thing to say that. See the full mercy of your Guru Maharaj. Means that everything was revealed in his heart. And Prabhupada, when he came to visit Prabhupada had told him, he said, after I'm gone, promise me you will go to the West and you will preach. I want people like you to go and preach in the West. So he promised Prabhupada, and he did. He went. He went to the United States and different places. And then Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj, who was Srila Sridhar Maharaj's chief secretary, he also told him, when I leave, you please go and you preach in the West. And he did. It's a very interesting story about him when he was going to preach in the West. Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj was reading all of Prabhupada's lectures so he could prepare, how is Prabhupada preaching in the West? I want to learn how. So he called my godbrother over, he says, what is this? Every lecture he says the same thing. You're not this body, sex life is abominable. Why does he keep saying this over and over again? No Gaudiya sannyasi preaches like this. My godbrother, he said, no one can, you cannot understand this. When you go to America, then you'll understand. No way. So then when he went to America, and he's preaching there, and he saw that godbrother, he called him and goes, yeah, now I understand why he was preaching like this. And he had this very intimate relationship with Srila Narayan Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada had a sister, Pishima. We called her Pishima. Her name is Bhavatarini. She was initiated by Saraswati Thakur. She had Harinam from him, and she had Diksha from Goswami Maharaj on Srila Prabhupada's instruction. So she used to live in the Imli Talamat, which was managed by Goswami Maharaj. And Goswami Maharaj was very poor. He didn't have much money, and the stairs were all broken. So she used to pray to the deity, my son, he has a lot of money, he's a big businessman, his name was Chandra, but he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in you. So I don't know what to do. Maybe you could talk to him and he could give money to fix the stairs. So Chandra tells the story. He says, I'm sleeping one night and Krishna comes to me in this dream and I said, why are you here? I don't believe in you. He said, well, your mother keeps praying to me that I should come and talk to you. So then he says, so what is it that you want? So Krishna said, well, your mother wants that you should fix my stairs on the temple, to go, because she wants to walk up the stairs and the stairs are all broken. So he said, I'm not going to give you any money to fix your stairs. He said, all right, don't give it to me. He said, but your mother wants it. So can you do it for your mother? All right, for my mother, I'll give the money. So he paid to fix the stairs. So she was a widow, Prabhupada's sister, and she had a very close friend, and they were both called Prabhavati. They're both called Pishima, but her friend was called Prabhavati, and her name was Bhavatarini, but they were both called Pishima. means uncle's sister. Yeah. The father's sister, right, father's sister, auntie. So Prabhavati tells all these stories about the different personalities who used to come and see Srila Prabhupada and Radha Damodar. She said that Narayan Maharaj used to go there, and she would come sometimes, and Narayan Maharaj would be there, and they would be cooking together, and then they would sit and have lunch together, and then they would do bhajans together. And she said that so many times Narayan Maharaj used to go to see Srila Prabhupada and Radha Damodar and just spend the day with them. So there was this intimate relationship that they had, very deep relationship. And when Srila Prabhupada was leaving, he had asked several people, Bhaktivedanta and his god brother, Bhai Puri Maharaj, please go to the West and preach. And he also went. So they all went under the request of their dear god brother, god uncle, that you please preach in the West. And Srila Prabhupada especially requested Srila Narayan Maharaj that you please go there and preach in the Western countries to my disciples. It was something that he wanted. Now I was there, it's in the folio, you'll see October 8th in the morning. I arrive. Tamal Krishna tells Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Das has just come from the West. He was collecting money for the Bhuvaneshwar project. Recognizes me, and then I let some kirtan. So it's there in the folio, October 8th in the morning. It was that night that Srila Narayan Maharaj had the very famous conversation with Prabhupada, where Prabhupada asked him to go to the West and preach. And to put him in samadhi also. And there's several conversations. Over the course of the time that I was there, over the next few weeks, I saw Narayan Maharaj coming, and I remember seeing him the first time, and I was like, wow, he glides. He doesn't walk. He's like my Guru Maharaj. He sort of glides along the ground. Just floats. So I was like very, impressed with that. And how, he was very regal, very clean, very austere, very sharp. So I was doing Chaturmas. I did Chaturmas from way down back in the time when Prabhupada was there, where I would eat only one meal a day. Boiled rice and dal, no salt, nothing. And I did this for 4 months. So I was doing it at the time. I had a beard, all that. So Narayan Maharaj comes a couple of days later, and he comes into the room. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's thinking, who is this person with a beard? Everybody else is shaved. He's the only one with a beard. Why does he have a beard? I had a bright red beard, Big red beard and red hair. He was like, who is this person with a beard? So I went over to him. I said, are you Narayan Maharaj? He said, yes. My name is Bhagavad Das Brahmacharya. Oh. He went like this, yeah, like why, what is this? I told him, I'm doing Chaturmas, ek din ek bar, in one day I eat one time only, havish, means to boil rice and dal. Now I'm explaining to him in my broken Hindi, and he's appreciating that I can speak Hindi. He smiles at me, he's like really happy. So he takes my elbow like this. He said, come with me. I want to take you to see something very special. brought me over to the side of Srila Prabhupada's bed. And there I am next to Srila Prabhupada's bed. And he's pointing at Srila Prabhupada and he said, "Look, do you see?" I'm looking, yeah, I see, he's laying in the bed, you know. I have no vision, I'm just a young boy, you know, a brahmachari. He says, look at his hands. And Prabhupada's hands were like this, over the top of his head. And he was, you know, laid out like this on the bed. And he said, "You see? That's the special mudra. His hands are in the special mudra," he said. And then he said, "And look, his head and neck are back, and his back is swayed, and then his feet, his legs are out, and his two feet were like this, one looked like, you know, on the tippy toes." He said, "You see how the feet are? You see everything?" He said, "This is the dancing pose." He said, "Right now, your Guru Maharaj is dancing with Radha and Krishna." Prabhupada was in a very deep state of, you know, subconscious, you know, with samadhi. I mean, he was not awake at all. But you couldn't call it sleep. I mean, it was like he was very deep. And so then after that he sang Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, which is the song that is sung at when any acharya is disappearing. They sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, prayerfully hoping, you know, praying that Rupa Manjari will come and take the new Saki to the Kunja and introduce them to Radha and Krishna for service. It's in Narottam Das Thakur. He wrote all these songs. It's Radha Krishna Pranamur, how he's putting all the chanda and everything on. But the song before that, he says, "I'm standing behind Rupa Manjari trembling, as I'm watching Radha and Krishna approach. I'm trembling. And Radharani stops and inquires from Rupa Manjari, 'Who is this young girl behind you?' And she said that Manjulali, who is Lokanath Goswami, his guru, Manjulali has brought this young girl to me. And seeing that she is very meek and humble, I'm thinking to engage her in your service." So Radharani then gives her blessing. And then the next song, Radha Krishna Paramod, so now he engages in the service. So this is why they sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, because it's Rupa Manjari who makes the arrangement to place you in the service of the divine couple. And so he sings it, he sang it, we were weeping. Maharaj sang so beautifully, Rupa Manjari Pada, so sweetly. All of us were weeping, I was crying, all the devotees were crying, because he sang it with such tenderness and love. And so, when he finished that, some time later, you know, he left. He had brought some young brahmacharis with him. I think Kirtan Maharaj was there, and there were some others who were there. And they were all, you know, singing with Srila Gurudev. And then he left with them. And about an hour or so later, Srila Prabhupada comes out of his sleep. So they asked Srila Prabhupada, "Please drink some water." He said, "I don't want to drink any water." They said, "But Prabhupada, we've measured how much urine you've passed today and how much water you've drunk, and you've drunk only half the amount of water that you've passed. You're going to dehydrate. Prabhupada said, yes, I know. So then they were saying, so does that mean you're going to leave us? So Prabhupada said, tell Tamal Krishna to come in here, I want to talk to him. So Tamal Krishna comes in the room, and Prabhupada looks at him and he said, I was just talking with Krishna. And I went, oh my God. Narayan Maharaj said that he was with Radha and Krishna, and now Prabhupada is saying that he was just talking with Krishna. That means Narayan Maharaj must be a pure devotee. I became like so excited I could understand that who he must really be. On November 14th, the day when Srila Prabhupada was leaving, I was at his head. You'll see the pictures of me there with the beard. I was still doing Chaturmas. Chaturmas didn't end for like 9 days after that. And I was massaging his head, and while I was massaging him, Srila Prabhupada was exhibiting the Astasatvika Bhav. I had read about this in Nectar of Devotion because I had been living with Gaur Govinda Maharaj, and he was encouraging me to read the different books, and he was actually reading to me from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and explaining it to me in English, and he was reading in the original language, and I was reading Nectar of Devotion and trying to understand. I was reading all about the ecstatic symptoms, I'm looking, and there's Prabhupada, trembling, roaring, rolling from side to side, belching, and I'm watching trembling, tears streaming from his eyes, and all the different ecstatic symptoms are being exhibited by him. I'm like stunned at the exhibition, thinking, my God, this is like Nectar of Devotion being played out in reality here. Like Mahaprabhu, when he was in ecstasy in Chaitanya Charitamrita, was seeing it. And then Srila Narayan Maharaj came in the door, walked behind me, kneeled down. I'm right there. He kneeled down next to the bed, and he put his mouth next to Srila Prabhupada's ear. He recited some mantra. I don't know what it was. I asked him years later, he said, no, I don't, not going to tell you. But he recited some mantra in his ear. As soon as he did, Prabhupada stopped. I was like, oh my God. It's like Swarup Damodar chanting in the ear of Mahaprabhu when he was in ecstasy and calming him down. It was like so ecstatic. And then Srila Prabhupada took his hand and he put it up like this over Narayan Maharaj's head. So there was a great intimacy between the two of them. Great intimacy. The next day, Srila Narayan Maharaj supervised the whole parikram around Vrindavan to all the sacred temples. If he hadn't been there, we wouldn't have known what to do, because at each temple there was requirements that had to be performed. The head Goswami of the temple would come out, he would perform different rituals and arti and everything, and some donation had to be given, some food was donated, some prasadam was given back. I mean, there's a whole, and we didn't know the etiquette, we didn't know the rules, we didn't know the principles, but he knew. He knew. We were just children. And this is why Srila Prabhupada requested him, please do this for me. Because they're very young and they don't know. I haven't had enough time to teach them all these details. So, like a good uncle, he did this for us. I always remembered this about him. I always remembered this about him. And in my own personal relationship with him, years later, when he came to America and he was preaching, he was very kind to me. He was very, very kind to me. He remembered me. He asked me one day, who were you? And I told him, I was the one with the red beard. Oh, you remember? Oh, you were that brahmachari. Okay. And from the beginning, he told me, I'm going to help you. You're a preacher. I want you to preach. So he helped me. He helped me to become disentangled from my family life. And I knew that this wasn't just him, because I was having dreams and Prabhupada was coming to my room and he was taking my clothes out of the drawer, putting them in the suitcase. And then Govinda Maharaj came in one dream and he was leading a Sankirtan party. He said, what are you doing there? Get out of there. Come over here with me. Come on the Sankirtan. So I was having these dreams, so they were telling me that it's time, you know, you've done your Grihastha ashram, now you have to move on. We sent Narayan Maharaj to pull you out. So I took it that he was, you know, that Prabhupada was coming in him for me. He always knew though. He said to me one day, he said, I know, in your heart, there's only your problem. That's all. I know. I said, yes, but I see him in you. He said, I understand. He said, but I know he's your first love. But he completely understood me, who I was, and what the meaning was of the relationship between us. But he did for me what Srila Prabhupada would have done had he been present at the time. Hold me out, move me forward, help me to make progress in my spiritual life. So for this I owe him a great debt of gratitude. A great debt of gratitude. His preaching helped to open up. After I had read all the books when I was living with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and I had gotten so much from it, but when I reread everything under his guidance, it opened up again like newer and newer layers of information, deeper and deeper. The purport spoke to me. Prabhupada's purport spoke to me in a special way. And I got to understand the meaning of Satam Prasangam Mamavirya Sampido Bhavanti Vidkana Sayanakata. How the transcendental sound vibration of the sadhu enters through your ear and touches your heart and changes your consciousness. So I owe him a great debt of gratitude. On his disappearance day, I must offer him my most humble prostrated obeisances and beg forgiveness for any offenses that I have committed to him in this course of executing my devotional service or in preaching. But he asked me to do certain things. He asked me to be like a mother to all of the younger devotees, which I try to do. He asked me to preach the fundamentals of Krishna consciousness, specifically Sambandha Gyan to everyone because of my comprehension of the topic. And he asked me to preach in some new places, which I haven't done quite yet, but I'm in the process of arranging that. So today I offer my most prostrated, humble obeisances at his feet, and I thank him from the bottom of my heart for all the blessings and mercy that he gave me. He gave me sannyas. He gave me the opportunity to preach this mission of Krishna consciousness. On behalf of my Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and I thank him sincerely for the gifts that these gifts. Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai.
Shrishtam manamapi Shachiputram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasyagrajamuri Purim Maturim Radha Kunda Magibaram Oh Radhika Madhvasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tam Natosmi Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikai Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Anandalila Maya Vigrahaya Hey Mabhadivyatsjavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vina Aparada Lakshe Chiltastu Kamaditaram Bhavati Kripamaitva Sharanam Prapadam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Hare Krishna Hare Radha Hare Saketi Govinda Damodara Madhaveti Sham Sundar Shikanda Shikanda Svahasmurli Amarara Radhikar Sukamama Kripanidhi Supriya Charna Kinkurim Kuru Tavaivasmi Na Jivami Tayavana Tivikaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, Asmadeva Paramaradatam Guru Pada Padma, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashtotara Satasishimad, Rupanuracharya Varya, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam at the lotus feet of Param Pujapad, Sri Bhaktivedanta, Bhagavad Maharaj, and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. By the causeless mercy of Sri Guru and Gauranga, today we are observing the Tirabhav Tithi, the disappearance festival, Viraha Mahotsav, the separation festival from the lotus feet of our Holy Master, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. We are unlimitedly indebted to Sripad Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat Maharaj for expressing his experience and realization of the very profound and intimate relationship between my Gurudev and his Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned that Srila Prabhupada wrote that when the first time I saw you, I looked upon you with such love, in the same way as my Gurudev looked upon me when the first time he saw me. And then in the next sentence he wrote that our relationship is on the platform of Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. So there are many opinions about the identity of Srila Prabhupada. But Srila Prabhupada himself has said that his relationship with Srila Narayan Maharaj is on the platform of Raganuga Bhakti. So we should accept Srila Narayan Maharaj's verdict as endorsed and directly by Srila Prabhupada himself. So, my Holy Master used to honor all appearance and disappearance days of our great acharyas in a particular way. He was very particular about this. And that is that first of all, before describing the Vyasti Guru means the individual spiritual master. One should first glorify the Samasti Guru, that is the principle of Guru Tattva. And then, after that, one can illustrate how that Samasti Guru, the principle of the Akhanda Guru Tattva, undivided Guru Tattva, is present in the individual Vyasti Guru. So, our Srila Vishwacharya Thakur has given the most nectarian description of Guru Tattva in his Gurvastakam. Samsara dhavanala lithaloka pranaya karunya ganaganatvam praptasya gunanavasya vande gurosi charnaravinda praptasya kalyana gunanavasya. I pray to my Holy Spiritual Master. All the living beings in this world are burning in the blazing fire of material existence, with no recourse, no respite, no way out. And see Krishna, he is the ocean of mercy, but the ocean is far away from the forest fire. How will the forest fire be extinguished? Only if the water from the ocean will take the form of a cloud and travel there, and then rain down upon the fire, then it will be extinguished. So in the same way, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jayapate
Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute.
That Radha Kanta, the beloved of Srimati Radhika, he himself is an ocean of mercy. And the entire mercy of Sri Krishna as condensed into the form of a cloud, and that form is my Gurudev. So Sri Guru is called Krishna Kripa Sri Murti. It is the form of Sri Krishna in which Sri Krishna bestows his mercy. Yadyapi Amar Guru Chaitanya Radas Tatapi Janya Ami Tahara Prakash. Though I know that my spiritual master is a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Radas, but at the same time, Tatapi Janya Ami Tahara Prakash. Gurudev is the Prakash, manifestation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Prakash Vigraha of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first Prakash Vigraha, is Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is the Baladev himself. He is the Adistatri Devata of Sandini Shakti. Sandini Shakti means eternal existence. So, in this world we are overwhelmed by many desires. Prajati yadakamam sarvam parta manogatam. Krishna said, Arjuna asked, what is the symptom of a person who is in samadhi, transcendental consciousness? Sri Krishna said, that person has given up all desires which are born from the unsteady mind. Atmane vatmanatushtas tasya pragya patishtita. They are pragya patishtita. So, when the mind is unsteady, then that unsteadiness of the mind manifests in the form of mature desires and mature attachments. How will this oscillating, turbulent heart become steady and thereby free from all attachment to the physical plane? When Sri Krishna was fighting with Vyomasur in Kamyavan, so when they were fighting, it was such a tremendous battle, the whole earth was shaking. And at that time, Balaram Prabhu, he pressed down on the earth with his lotus foot. There's a footprint there in Kamyavan, near the cave of Vyomasur. And it shows that when Baladev Prabhu, in the form of Gurudev, places his lotus feet on the heart of the disciple, then the Sandini Shakti makes the heart nirvikar, completely steady. He has a sthira buddhi now, sthira buddhi, steady intelligence. And then on the platform of Sandini Shakti, then Samvit Sri Krishna and Ladini Radhika can dance. So this is why in the beginning we see Guru Tattva, Gurudev, as the manifestation of Balaram Prabhu or Nityananda Prabhu, because he makes the heart steady. And when the heart is steady, then after that we see Sri Guru as Nikunjayu Rati Keli Siddhai Yaya Viyustira Pekshaniya Tatratidacha Ativalabhasya Vande Guru Shri Janavindam Mahabhav Chintamani Radhara Swarup Lalitari Saki Tarak Kaya Vyuha Rup. The gopis, the sakis of Radhika, are Radhika's own Kaya Vyuha Rup, her expansions. So once Padmanabh Maharaj has Gurudev. So in the beginning we see Guru as the manifestation of Baladev, the manifestation of Nityananda Prabhu. But later we see Gurudev as the manifestation of Radhika as a Saki. So at which stage does our vision become from one to the next? Srila Gurudev said, Asakti. In the stage of Asakti. Because in that stage, Nishta Ruchi Asakti, in the stage of Asakti, then one has the first rudimentary realization, the abhas of one's Siddha Swarup. And in one's own Siddha Swarup, one can follow one's Gurudev in his Siddha Swarup. So, this is the qualification of Sadguru. Nikunja Yuno Ratikali Siddhi. The spiritual master is the maidservant, Dasi of Radhika, and very expert in all types of services to the divine couple. What type of services? Especially cheating the mother-in-law, cheating the husband, cheating the Sakhis from the other parties, from the anti-party of Chandravali, and even sometimes cheating Krishna himself. Tvam prachadena mudiratscha vina pidaya manjera mukta charnam cha vidhaya devi kunjay brajanda thanayena virajamani naktam pradha pramuditam apisaris. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad is saying, oh, when as Rupa Manjari will I prepare Radhika to sneak out of the house? If she'll sneak out of the house with her ankle bells jingling, then Jotila, mother-in-law may hear, or Abhimanyu. So first of all, I'll have to bind her ankles with a dark cloth to muffle, to stop the ankle bells from ringing. And on the dark moon night, I'll cover her in a dark bluish cloth. And in this way, she can sneak out from the house without being seen. And then I'll bring her, not to where Krishna is waiting, but to somewhere else nearby. And then from there, I'll go to see Krishna. And Krishna, seeing me, Krishna knows, Krishna is very much overjoyed seeing a Dasi of Radhika, because he knows Radhika must be. Seeing me, Krishna will become elated. Oh, where is Radhika? And then I'll tell him, unfortunately, her mother-in-law is keeping her under lock and key, and there was no way to bring her out of the house tonight. I regret to inform you. And then Krishna will fall to his knees and weep, alas, alas. And then I'll say, only joking. She's nearby, come with me. Just so Krishna knows his place. This is Nikunja Yuno Ratikali Siddha Yayali Beyuktira Tatati Dakshan Atti Vallabhas Vande Guru Shitarnara. So that is the full Guru Tattva. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad has explained in Upadeshamrita. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udar Pasta Vegam, Eitan Vegan, Yovishahita Dira, Sarvam Apimam Prativimsa Sisyat. A person who has controlled the urge to speak, the demands of the mind, who has controlled anger, who has controlled the urges of the tongue, the belly and the genitals, is fit to make disciples all over the world. But that is not full Guru, that is only partial Guru. A person may have full control over their senses, but if they are not Nikunja Yuno Ratikali Siddhya Yayali Beyuktera Pakshani, they are not fully Guru Tattva. They can be partially. And they should always remain under the guidance of those who are serving in that plane. So this is Guru Tattva. Ishwarara Janmatiti Jehino Pavitra Sai Mata Vaishnavera Titira Charitra. In Chaitanya Bhagavata it is said that just as the appearance day of Sri Krishna in this world is so auspicious and glorious, so in the same way, not less, the appearance and disappearance of the Vaishnavas are similarly glorious. So we should not consider that today is anything less than Janmastami or Radhastami or Guru Purnima. So now we are coming to from the Samasti Guru Tattva to the Vyasti Guru Tattva. Our Gurudev appeared in this world in 1921 on Mauni Amavasya. So generally according to astrology, it is said that if someone is born on the dark night, the Amavasya, then they will be a thief. So this is quite correct. And anyone who has met our Gurudev knows. You were mentioning our very dear associate and friend, Sri Tamal Krishna Goswami. So of course he was always coming and hearing so much from Srila Gurudev, but he got squeezed into a difficult situation at some point. So at that point he had to kind of disavow somewhat. though it was not his heart's desire. So when my Gurudev was first going to Fiji, yeah, I went with him preaching in Fiji. Yeah. And at the time there, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was in charge of that area at the time, and he had instructed the devotees, if Srila Narayan Raj comes to the temple, then you should give pranam and respect him and give a garland. He said, but don't look in his eyes. I'm just saying this in connection with the Moni Amavasya. Because only from his eyes, from his glance, from his Kripa Kataksh, in a moment, he could steal your heart forever and put it in his pocket. Such a transcendental personality. I remember once we were in Baja, and it was on a morning walk, and there was a devotee, and he'd heard so many criticisms, so he was very skeptical. But anyway, he could not control his curiosity. So he came to the Vaja festival to see what's going on. So he came for 1 year, but he was looking, with squinty eyes. But then the next year anyway, still, despite his reluctance, he came the next year. And he came for about five or 6 years in a row. And finally he could not resist anymore. And on the morning walk, he came to Srila Gurudev, and he finally plucked up the courage after many years. And he said, "Oh Maharaj, please, I want to surrender to you and I want to give you my heart." Gurudev said, "No, it's too contaminated." And then everyone's heart stopped. There was a pin drop silence. Then he smiled, he said, "I'll give you mine." So, Moni Amavasya, he was born 1921, because he is a thief of hearts. And taking those hearts and making them very soft and fragrant, like flowers, and he's offering them at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Moni Amavasya has another significance. During the Kumbh Mela in Prayag, it is for 2 months, and the Moni Amavasya is the middle day, and that is the day of the Mahasnan. Everyone, there are other days for Snan, for bathing, but that is the day of the Mahasnan where the most people want to go, because that is the day that the Amrita, there was a battle there was a churning between demons and demigods. They started fighting over the Amrita, and some drops were spilt, and they fall down in the confluence of Ganga and Jamuna there. So everyone wants to take bath in the morning of the Moni Amavasya on that day, because that is the day that the Amrita, the nectar, fell to earth. So Srila Gurudev said, when the Shastra is saying you should take bath on this day because the nectar falls to earth, this is called Lokasangraha, only to collect the imagination of the general people and engage them in activity that will bring about auspiciousness in their life. Because when you go to the holy place, what is the nectar? Sususro Sadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Sanmayat Sevya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nisevana. The holy place means the sadhus. And by seeing them, serving them, and hearing from them, one develops a taste in the nectar of Harikatha. That is the actual significance of Kumbh Mela. The Kumbha, that means the pure devotees, Bhakti Rasa Patra, the pots full of Amrita, Bhakti Rasa. That is the reason to go to the holy place. Yatyeta buddhi shalne nakaichit chane shavikeshu saiva gokara. And anyone who thinks otherwise is a donkey. Saiva gokara. So, also, perhaps you know that in that place at the confluence of Prayag, Ganga and Jamuna in Prayag, that is Dashashvameda Ghats, the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he met with Srila Rupa Goswami. And there he said to him, Para sunya gabir bhakti rasu sindhu Toma chaka ite kahita eka bindu. Hey Rupa, the ocean of bhakti rasa is unlimited. It has no shore in any direction. It is so deep, this ocean has no ocean bed. So just to make you understand what is this bhakti rasa, I will give you one drop. And it was as if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the finger of Rupa Goswami, dipped it in the ocean of bhakti rasa, and then said, taste this. And tasting only what was touching the end of his finger, Rupa Goswami became intoxicated and manifested Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwa Nilamani, Vidagdha Madhav, Lalit Madhav, Dan Kali Komadi, all the poems of Stavamala, Hamsadut, and all these things by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that place is also the place where the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the drops, were given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Rupa Goswami. So our Gurudev, he appeared on the Moni Amavasya. That means the day when the droplets of the nectar of Bhakti Rasa that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Srila Rupa Goswami descended to this world in the form of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami. So he was born in the village of Tiwaripur in Bihar. So his family name was Tiwari. Tiwari means Trivedi. So very high class Brahmins, expert in three Vedas. And his father and family for many generations, they were in the Sri Sampradaya. And they were worshipping Sitaram. Because that place, it was close to the bank of the Ganga and very close to the place where Lord Ram delivered Ahalya and also Kevat, the boatman Kevat. So it was a very holy place. But out of humility, Srila Gurudev used to say, oh, I am from Bihar, that is the place of Magadharaj, Jarasandha, a big demon. That place is also Pandava Varjita Desh. Though the Pandavas, when they were in exile, during the exile, they traveled everywhere, but that's the place where they never went. So he said it's a very inauspicious place because it was rejected by the Pandavas. And also the Bihar is the place of Buddha. And Buddha is most extremely antagonistic to Shuddha Bhakti, the Shunyavad, voidism. So out of humility, Gurudev would say, because of my sins, I am born in this way. When he was a small baby, he used to sit very peacefully, not crying or screaming or anything. So his grandmother gave him the name Bolanath, because just as Lord Shiva, he sits peacefully without being disturbed. He was like that as a baby. But his family name, given name, was Sriman Narayan. Sriman Narayan. So when he was at school, when he was about 11 or 12 years old, there was a Sanskrit debate in the school, and he won the Sanskrit debate. And the prize for winning the debate was a book it was the life of Nimbadicha Acharya, Nimbarkacharya. And so as a childhood, Gurudev was very interested in history, and he read this. And when he read about the life of the great Acharya, Nimbaditya, his intense sadhana and his devotion and his shraddha in the holy names, then Srila Gurudev was very impressed. And that was how he said, then really his faith in the chanting of the holy name was awakened by reading this. And he he was studying Indian history, and when he came to the medieval period, he studied about a great reformer in West Bengal named Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And he discovered, how this person is so dedicated to the holy name, the power of the holy name. And his father took him to one festival in the place of Ahalya, and there for the first time in his life, in his childhood, he saw a Maha Sankirtan, and it made a very profound impression on him. And from then he began to chant so much Harinam always. his Kula Guru used to give class, especially, and his other family members, also uncles, they used to give class on Ramayana. And from childhood he was absorbed in the pastimes of Sita Ram and Lakshman and Hanuman. And he used to chant their names and weep. And sometimes in his dreams he would see Sita Ram and Lakshman and Hanuman. Then once his Kula Guru gave a Bhagavad Katha for 1 month. 1 month Srimad Bhagavatam. And so Srimad Bhagavatam is especially focusing in the 10th canto, culminates in the pastimes of Sri Krishna. And within that also, really the glories of Braja Gopis and Radhika. And then, when he began to hear the Bhagavatam deeply for the first time from his Kula Guru, he felt some attraction in his heart towards Sri Krishna. So his parents arranged his marriage when he was about 17. And so he was married, and he was an officer in the police force. So you cannot imagine what it's like in Bihar in the 1930s, right? Riding a horse with a gun everywhere. I mean, even today Bihar can be quite wild. You know, when Sanatana Goswami was traveling from Puri and going to Vrindavan, not from Puri, when he escaped from the prison of the Nawab Hussain Shah in Bengal, when he was going to, when he came through Bihar, that's the place where the dacoits, they wanted to kill him. Yeah, so it was famous for a lot of outlaws and that there. So he was very athletic, and he was a champion in athletics also, and a very energetic police officer there, and gradually got promoted to a high position in the police force. During that time, some preachers from Bengal came to Bihar. One, his name was Narottam Ananda. Another's name was Radhanath Das Adhikari. So Narottam Ananda later became famous as Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Maharaj. And Radhanath Das Adhikari became Param Pujapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami. So they came to his village, and but Narottam he was giving class for 7 days only on the glories of the devotion of Prahlad Maharaj in Bengali. Because actually one of the higher up policemen in Gurudev's station was from Bengal, and he'd invited him to come. So then after the Katha, then Gurudev would sit down with him, and he didn't know Hindi. Narottam didn't know Hindi, and Gurudev didn't know Bengali. So the only common language they had with each other to speak was English. So this was the first Gaudiya preaching to Gurudev was in English. And Gurudev later, when he was very old, he said, oh, it was an omen. It was an omen of the future, that later I would have to speak everywhere, all over the world in English. So he first heard the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English. And then he became very much attracted to Radha and Krishna. And now he was conflicted because in his whole life, he was dedicated to Sita Ram. So then one night in a dream he saw a chariot, and Ram and Lakshman were driving on the chariot. And they came up to him, and then they stepped down. And Lord Ram says, you should not be in any anxiety. There's no difference between Krishna and myself. I am the Vilas Vigra of Sri Krishna. So I give you my blessing. You serve Radha and Krishna. So then he felt no internal conflict about dedicating himself to the service of Radha and Krishna in the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one day he was talking with one of his friends, and his friend said, I am going to renounce the world. Gurudev said, why? What happened? He said, well, just a few days before, in the morning time, I woke up very early and I was sitting and chanting the holy names. And I became so absorbed in chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Madhuram etan mangalam mangalanam. The holy name is the sweetest of all sweet things. And I became absorbed in that. I forgot about everything. And I could not stop chanting. And on that day, I had to go to the office and I had very important work to do that day, but I was just chanting and I could not stop. The holy name had possessed me and would not let me go. So then the next day I was thinking, oh, what am I doing? I should do bhajan. I'll go to the office and they'll probably be really angry with me because I didn't do my job and I'm ready to give my resignation. So he said I went to the office and there I was met by my superior and the superior said, oh, you will receive a promotion. And he said, and why? He said, for your good work yesterday. He said, I didn't come yesterday. He said, look, you have signed here. And he showed him the book where he'd signed in. And then he said, oh, no need to discuss anymore. And then he was in shock and he told Gurudev, he said, I know that time Krishna was true to his word. Ananyas chintayantu mam yejana parupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga sema vahamiham. To those who are always dedicated to serving me with love, whatever they have I protect it and whatever they need I carry that myself. And that at that time when I was doing bhajan, Krishna himself took my form and came and did all the work and he did it so well, I was recommended for a promotion. He said, so now I have a full faith that Krishna in all circumstances will maintain me. So what is the use of going on with this work? I am renouncing everything. So when Gurudev heard this, he was very impressed. And the seeds were coming in his heart also. If he should do it, why not me? So then, Gurudev went to his office, and at that time, there was a very important case going on in another department. And the file of that case had been lost. And now the chief of police there was completely disturbed because some judges were coming and they had to prepare the case and they'd lost the file and there was a panic in the office. So then that chief came to Srila Gurudev and said, oh, Sriman Narayan, Tiwari ji, you please help us look for this file. Gurudev said, actually I have nothing to do with this case, I don't know what this file looks like, it's not part of my department. He said, anyway, just help us because it will give some more support for the other department, they're panicking. So then Gurudev got up and he went and, bureaucracy in those days, nothing was on a computer, right? So there's all thousands of dusty files everywhere. And somehow the inspiration came in Gurudev's heart. He said, if I close my eyes and wherever I put my hand, I find this file, I promise you, Krishna, I'll leave everything forever and serve you. So Gurudev closed his eyes, he put his hand on the files and he pulled out one and he opened it and that was the missing file. The police chief and all the others there were panicking. They started to dance. Jai, Jai, well done, well done. And then Gurudev said to that chief, he said, I want to resign. What are you talking about? What will you do? Gurudev said, I want to do business. What kind of business do you want to do? I want to do a business which is all profit and no loss. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Neha Bikramanashosti Pratyavayana Vidyate Sopamaptasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. On this path there's no loss, there's no diminution. He could not openly say because he could not be able to convince him. So then he was very concerned. He said, well, what about your mother and father? Do your parents know? Do they agree? He said, yes. He had not discussed with his mother and father, but he said yes. Why? Because Guru is father and Shastra is mother. So he said, do mother and father agree? Yes. Guru agrees and Shastra agrees. So that, and then he gave his resignation, and very secretly in the middle of the night, just like Raghunath Das Goswami, being from a very aristocratic family, he ran away from home. So Gurudev, he put some pillows underneath his blanket and made it look like he was lying in the bed, and in the middle of the night he left and he traveled, and he took a train to Bengal, to Navadvip Dham, the train station called Navadvip Dham. So he arrived there in the middle of the night, at midnight. The train arrived, and he'd never been to Bengal before in his life. He didn't know where the mutt was or anything, and he'd never met Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav. He'd only heard about him from, and he'd written some letters, that had some exchange of letters. And in the middle of the night, Gurudev got down from the train onto the station there, and he was wondering, I don't know which way to go. And he saw a lantern, kerosene lantern, swinging along the platform. And someone was calling, Tiwari ji! Tiwari ji! Are you Tiwari ji? He said, yes, I am Tiwari. He said, Gurudev sent me to bring you to the mutt. So actually no one knew that he was arriving or what time or anything. Gurudev said, how did he know? That person who came to meet him, his name was Sajjan Sevaka Brahmachari. And later he became famous by the name of Param Pujapad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, whose appearance day is today. Because Srila Gurudev disappeared on his godbrother's appearance day because of their deep love for each other. So then Sajjad Sevak Brahmachari, he just, without any surprise, just said, oh, Gurudev is Sabhagya, omniscient, so he sent me. Krishna told him you were coming, and so he sent me. And then he brought Gurudev to the mutt. So Gurudev, he arrived at the mutt and he gave pranam at the feet of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami. And he said, oh Gurudev, whatever love I had for my mother, my father, for my wife and my children and all I am collecting together and offering that at your lotus feet. And Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, tears came in his eyes and he embraced him. This was the first meeting of our Gurudev in this world, with his Gurudev in this world. This is why in the pranam mantras there is many pranam mantras. They have this phrase, Bhutale. Namon Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Means Bhutale. In this world he is known as Bhaktivedanta Swami. In that world he is Manjari. And that's Yam Radhika. So Bhutale indicates this. So it was a very sweet and intimate meeting between Vinod Manjari, our Param Gurudev, and our Gurudev Ramana Manjari. So from the very beginning, he engaged himself in most menial services. In those days there was no electricity, and the kerosene lanterns would become black after one night. So he used to clean all the kerosene lanterns in the mud. He used to wash the pots in the kitchen. And at that time, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj was doing the construction of Devananda Gaudiya Math, and the bricks were coming in boats along the Ganga to the Panchaveni on the bank of the Ganga. And so Srila Gurudev from that area, the Aparad Bhanjan part where Devananda Gaudiya Math was, the whole day from morning to night, he was going to the Ganga, loading up all the bricks on his head, and then carrying them from the boat, and then putting them down for building, and going back again all day. Like So though he was from a very aristocratic Trivedi Brahmin family, and he was very highly placed also in the police force, but now he was working just like a menial servant, because he understood how do we receive the anubhava, anubhuti, realization of Sri Krishna. Not by reading books, not by giving learning discourses. Nayama papravachanena labhyo nameda nabo nasritena mameva se vrinuteten labhyasta se samavivrinute tanum swam. Not by being greatly intelligent. No. The Supreme Lord only reveals himself to those whom he chooses. And to whom does he bestow his mercy? That person who has served his devotees. So from the very beginning, Gurudev was serving in so many capacities. And from his childhood, he and his family, they're very interested in music and singing. So he was very much attracted to the kirtans of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And from the beginning, he was learning from Srila Trivikram Maharaj. So Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesh Maharaj was very gentle with him. He never used to chastise him. He was the only non-Bengali living in the mat. But Srila Trivikram Maharaj used to chastise him, but with love. So one day, Srila Gurudev was learning the song. E mana durmati samsara bitore poriya achinu ahami. Was it? Oh, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I am a very wicked-minded person, and because of this I have fallen into this dark world of material existence. But one of your Kono Mahajane, one of your dear devotees came to me and said, "Oh, wretched soul, I have some good news for you. Krishna himself has appeared in Nadia along with his brother, the Avadut, Nityananda Prabhu, and they have ferried so many persons just like you across the ocean of material existence." So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing this news from that great Mahajan, now I am come and surrendering myself at your lotus feet and requesting you to bestow your mercy upon me. So Srila Gurudev was singing this, and Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesh Maharaj was in his room, and he could hear this very sweet singing from the core of the heart. And he was moved by that. And he got up and, who is singing? Who is singing? They told him, that Sriman Narayan is singing. And he went there and saw. And then from that day, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesh Maharaj always engaged him as a very prominent kirtaniya when they would go preaching and he would ask someone to sing. He used to ask our Gurudev to sing. Because how he would sing from the heart. If you hear, you were discussing the disappearance festival of Srila Prabhupada. So on that day, our Gurudev sang Jai Nilo Prema Dhana, the disappearance song. And the recording is there. And if you hear it, your hairs will stand on end. Have you heard this recording? Srila Narayan Raj singing Jai Nilo Prema Dhana in front of Srila Prabhupada when he's just disappeared from this world. It's incredible. I think even an atheist, his heart will break hearing.
I heard it in person.
And Maharaj heard it in person. You cannot be the same again. If you hearing recording is powerful, but hearing in person. Because this Shabda Brahma is imbued with, the sound is imbued with the bhav. Just like our Gurudev, before class, he always used to pray Mangala Charanam. And the last verse, Tavayavasmi, Tavayavasmi, Na Jivami Tayabina, Iti Vigyaya Devi Tam Nayamam Charanam. It is from the end of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's Vilap Kusumanjali, where at the end of his pastimes in this world, when he's lost everyone, his Diksha Guru, his Shiksha Gurus, Sanat Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda, and Srila Sanatan Goswami and even Srila Rupa Goswami have all disappeared from this world. And he's alone and feeling, I have not attained the goal of my life. And he's crying, Oh Radhika, Tavaivasmi, Tavaivasmi. I am yours, I cannot live without you. Iti Vigyaya Devi Tam Knowing this, oh Devi, please bring me to your lotus feet. So when Srila Gurudev used to say this verse, if anyone was serving him, it was as if you could hear the very pitiful crying of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami in the middle of the night. Directly. So there is a quality of in Kirtan. Those who are in this world, who are in that world, transcendental world, who are absorbed, always living in the association of Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. Once I was with Srila Gurudev in an island in the Philippines, Cebu, and he was staying by the ocean there. And in the morning he would walk and chant japa, and seeing the ocean, all the Udipan of Jagannath Puri was there. So Srila Gurudev came to me, he said, always be with Srila Raghunath Das Goswami in Jagannath Puri. Meaning that those were his glorious days, when at the end of the night, when the night was over, Swarup Damodar Goswami would come directly from the Gambhira, where he'd been with Mahaprabhu, seeing the tremendous madness of separation of Mahaprabhu in the Gambhira, and Swarup Damodar would then return to his ashram at Satasan Tila, and Raghunath Das Goswami, very young, would be waiting there for him to come and give pranam. What? Please tell me what happened. And he would relate directly, first-hand experience of Mahaprabhu's pastimes in the Gambhira to him. So if you will always remember these pastimes, to live there, don't live in North Carolina. Be in Puri, be in Navadip, be in Braj. Tishtan Brajeta Danuragi, by heart. You cannot be there physically, but by heart be there. By always hearing the lives, the biographies, the Jivan Charitra of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the process. Being a Vaishnava is not just wearing tilak and having a funny hairstyle. A Vaishnava is absorbed, avesh, completely absorbed in Gora Lila. Gora Prema Rasanave, Saitaranga Jevadube, Say Radha Madhavantaranga. And those who are sinking in the ocean of love for Gauranga, sinking in the nectar of that Gora Lila, then they become internally the associates of Radha Madhava in Vrindavan. Those who will immerse themselves in Nidai Ghat in Navadvip will come up at Keshi Ghat in Vrindavan. So our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshmaj, recognized the quality of the kirtan of Gurudev. One day, Srila Gurudev, it was the noon arti, and no one was there for the arti. Gurudev came and he took a mridanga and started playing and singing. Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokul Ranjana Kana. So though his singing was very beautiful, but he was not so good at mridanga playing. And Param Gurudev could hear the singing in the distance, and he was so attracted. So he got up and he ran there. And he took the mridanga from Gurudev and put it on himself. And now Gurudev was singing, and Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshmar, was playing mridanga and dancing. So Gurudev was singing for Radhavinoda Bihari, and his Gurudev was playing mridanga, and he was watching. And he said, the charming way in which he was playing the mridanga and dancing at the same time, it was so aprakrita, supernatural. He thought, only an eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can play mridanga and dance in this sweet way. And of course those associates of Mahaprabhu, they are playing mridanga and singing. Where? In the Rasa Leela of Radha and Krishna. Tai ta tai ta ta tai tai ta, triki 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 ta trimiki trimiki, bopatam bopatam tam, and dancing and saying these are the mridanga mantras from Rasa Leela. So, Srila Gurudev, he was traveling everywhere with his spiritual master. On Gaura Purnima, in 1940, when was it?
6.
Yeah. This is Diksha, in 1946. He received Diksha, Harinam and Diksha together. And Param Gurudev gave him the name Gaur Narayan. His name before was Narayan, but now became Gaur Narayan, because Narayan has a golden swarup. And he was traveling everywhere with Gurudev, with his Param Gurudev, with his Gurudev. So at that time there was one young brahmachari named Ananga Mohan Brahmachari. And he sang very sweetly and played mridanga, and he used to cook for Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj. Quite young and very beautiful brahmachari. But when they were traveling, he was struck with tuberculosis. So Param Gurudev took him to so many places to try to cure him, but it was not working, and after some time, then Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj had to go to somewhere else for preaching and couldn't take him. So he wanted someone to look after this sick boy, but no one wanted to do it, because in those days you associate with someone with tuberculosis, then there's a great chance that you'll get it, and maybe there's no cure. So no one wanted to do it, but Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj told Gaur Narayan, "Oh, can you take care of him?" And he agreed. Gurudev agreed. So he was looking after him, and his health deteriorated more and more, and he was in great pain. And the boy, he could not move. He was passing stool and urine in the bed. He was vomiting blood. His lungs were full of blood. And Gurudev was washing his bed and changing his clothes. It was very infectious as well. And then, just towards the last moment of his life, though previously looked as if he was in pain, he became very serene and smiling, and he was shining, and he kept saying, "Oh, Gurudev is calling me. Gaur-Nitai calling me. Oh, Gaur-Nitai, Gaur-Nitai. Oh, Radha Vinod Bihari, I'm coming, I'm coming." And then Srila Gurudev ran and he held the feet of the boy, and he put the boy's feet on his head. He said, "Take me with you." And then very happily he said, "Oh, Radha Krishna calling, I'm going. Gurudev's calling." And he left. And then Gurudev, he said that very moment in his life, though you should understand that Gurudev already had Guru Nishta, very powerful faith in the service of Guru. He said, from that moment, my Guru Nishta became double. This boy, he was not well educated. He was not so learned. But he was very simply serving his spiritual master with his whole life and soul in a simple way. And what was the result? In the last moment, he was having the darshan of Gaur-Nitai, having the darshan of Radha Krishna, and his Gurudev took him to the spiritual world. So then Gurudev said, from that moment, my Guru Nishta doubled. Yeah, Srila Gurudev, he grew up listening to the Ramayana. You know the Ramayana? When Lord Ram, he was told, you have to go to the forest. It was the day before his coronation, he was told, you have to go to the forest. Your father is telling, you have to go to the forest. Give up the kingdom. For 14 years. That very joyfully he accepted it. He did not think, wait a minute, what is this? Why would my father do this? This is not fair. And actually, he was blackmailed into it by his wife, Kaikeyi, and complained. Happily, whatever his Guru. And Lord Ram said, Aham hi vasanadragya patayam apipavake bakshayeyam bisham tikshnam majjayam ivacharna apicharnave. It means, oh, what my father, that is Gurujan, what my Gurujan will tell, if they tell me to fall into flames of a fire, if they tell me to jump in the middle of the ocean, if they tell me to drink poison, I must do it. So Srila Gurudev grew up with that nishta for that honor for Lord Ramachandra and his example in his pastime. He said, but after this experience, my Guru Nishta became double. So this is one of these very special qualities of Gurudev, is aprakrita sraddha, supernatural faith in Guru. That even a person, even they're not doing so much chanting Harinam so much or doing so much bhajan or anything, but if they have a sraddha, nahami jam prajati vyam tapasa pasamena cha tusyam sarvabhut atma guru susrusrayayata. Krishna said, I am not so pleased by your puja. I am not so pleased by your remembering mantras. I am not so pleased by your taking sannyas. I am not so pleased by you even going in samadhi, as I am pleased by that person who listens to his guru and serves serves according to the instructions of Gurudev. So in the commentary of this verse, Sridhar Swami, the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, by this verse, Sri Krishna is saying that Guru Seva is Swatantra Anga of Bhakti. It is an independent limb of devotional service. That means it can give all siddhi, all perfection by itself without the support of any other limb. But who will tell these things? Who will speak these things? Srila Gurudevas. And one who has the aprakrita sraddha, supernatural faith in Guru, then they develop the supernatural realization of all the tattvas. This is the speciality of Gurudev. If persons listen to his Harikatha, they would be in shock. His supernatural faith in the Dham, Braja Dham, Navadip Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham. He did parikrama every year in Navadvip and Braj Mandal every year. And not every year, but almost every year in Puri also, but especially Purushottam Mass is coming up this year. Try to be in Puri, Purushottam Mass. It's only once every 2 years, 8 months, and so many days, and so many minutes and seconds. It comes, and it's coming. So, Srila Gurudev had such Shraddha. He used to say that when you're doing parikrama, you should go everywhere with the devotees dancing and singing loud Harinam Sankirtan and hear Katha from them. Don't worry about other things. He said the Dham is so powerful, the dust of the Dham will speak Harikatha to you. He had supernatural faith in Sadhu Sangha. Duru adbhuta viryesmin sradaduru istupanchake sopamapyasya yacha sopapi sambandha sadhyam bhava janmane. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad has said, Duru adbhuta viryesmin, the power of Sadhu Sangha is adbhut, astonishing. It is so powerful, it is so indescribable, it is so inconceivable. Whatever has been glorified about the power of Sadhu Sangha in the scripture, it is even more than that. The scripture even has not described the extent of the power of Sadhu Sangha. Why? Yatta swapapi sambandha sadhyam bhava janmane. Even a person does not have Shraddha. Shraddha dura is to panchake. A person does not have Shraddha, faith even, in Krishna. But by a slight contact of a sadhu, if his heart is simple, he can receive Bhav. Satyam Bhava Janmane. If that person is not critical and not hypocritical, is not critical or envious towards others, then by a moment's association, Bhav can appear. We're talking about Sadha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivristi, Nishta Ruchi, Asakti Bhav can appear in the heart by the power of the association with a real sadhu. His aprakrita Shraddha, supernatural faith in Harikatha. Kvaimastriyava nachiriya vyabhachara dushna Krishne kochaisha paramatma niruddha bhava nanveshro nubhajito vijasopi sakshat sreyastanoti gadaraji vopayukta. He used to say, Uddhav came to Braja and he saw the love of gopis, and with a trembling finger he pointed, where are these gopis and where am I? They are on the top of Mount Everest of Prem, and I am so far at the bottom I cannot even see the extent of their love. But Krishna is so merciful to me because he sent me to Vrindavan to have their sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastri going. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi. This actually means gopi sangha, sarva shastri going. Lava matra gopi sangha, sarva siddhi. A sadhu who is that, like that Nikunja, you know, Ratikali Siddhai, one of those gopis. Their association is so powerful. One's life will be changed forever. So Gurudev would say, that Uddhav said, Krishna is so merciful, he sent me here. And now I have heard the Krishna Katha from the lips of Braja Gopis. Then though I am so fallen, though I am so foolish, though I have never done any service in my life to Krishna. Uddhav is thinking, I have never done any, even a little service. Nanvesharo nu anu bhajato, not even anu. A tiny bit of service I have not done. So yes, tanotya gada raja ivopayukta. But I have been touched by the Katha from the lips of Braja Gopis. And it is Amrita. Just as a person who by mistake, a person is dying but by mistake he drinks some nectar, then it will revive him. So in the same way, Srila Gurudev used to say, if you will hear from the lips of a pure devotee the glories of the gopis of Vrindavan, no, if even the air which touched this Katha touches your body, you will attain Krishna Prem very soon, in this life or next life. This was his aprakrita saddha, supernatural faith in Harikatha. He had the supernatural faith in our Guru Parampara. Now some people tell our Guru Parampara they are sadhana siddha. But Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur himself, he said, one of the specialities of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is that by his fervent prayers, he caused the eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to appear in this world. So that means Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, our Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, these persons, they are the Nitya Parikas, eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah? It's the opinion of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So,
in the article Bhaktivedanta.
Yes, exactly.
Thakur, but
yes, exactly. In the Harmonist magazine, yes. So, Srila Gurudev had extraordinary Shraddha in Saptam Goswami, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In his vision of the future of Krishna consciousness and in the unprecedented nectar of his bhajans, that those who will sing the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and be in his anugatya, we are called Vinodhara. Our specific line is Rupanuga, we are Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya and Rupanuga, and among that Vinodhara, the current of conception of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he had extraordinary faith in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And that time we were in the Philippines, in Cebu, that time, he was actually translating and writing a new commentary and first commentary ever on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajan Rahasya. And at that time, he said to me, as I am writing this commentary, then I am realizing how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the form of Kamala Manjari, is serving Radha and Krishna, and all the ecstasies of Kamala Manjari are being presented in this Bhajan Rahasya. So, we are touching the subject, how from the young age, when he was serving that boy who was passing away, his supernatural Shraddha in Guru Tattva developed. And on the basis of the Shraddha in Guru, then the astonishing aprakrita, otherworldly faith in all the Chinmay Vastu, transcendental subjects, the holy name, Mahaprasadam, the holy Dham, Sadhu Sangha, Harikatha, Bhajans, all of this, that it all expands from that. Without Shraddha in Guru, there's nothing. So Srila Gurudev used to say, Guru Nishta is the backbone of bhajan, of bhakti. Just as your spine, if your spine is healthy, you can run and jump. But if there's a slight spinal injury, you're paralyzed and cannot move. So in the same way, if one has some doubt, sangsayatva vinashati, if there's doubt, one's life is ruined. If there's any doubt in Guru, we cannot progress. And if there's Guru Nishta, then one can gallop in bhakti. Gurudev used to say, gallop like a horse, like a wild horse, through the stages of bhakti. Nishta, ruchi, asakti. So, Srila Param Gurudev, he used to travel everywhere giving lectures. And he also used to give presentations with a projector and slides. So in those days, the 1930s, in 1940s, 50s, in Bengal, a projector was like, a space shuttle or something. And so he used to attract many people would come to see this. So then one day they were traveling, and then Gurudev realized, oh, I forgot to bring the projector. What will I do? What will I do? So then Srila Trivikram Maharaj, he said, you don't worry. And then Srila Trivikram Maharaj went to Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj, and he said, I think that it looks like rain this evening. I think that it looks like rain this evening. I don't think we should set up the projector. And then Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj said, yes, I think you're right, yes. Well, I'll just give a class this evening without the projector. And then Srila Trivikram Maharaj came back to Gurudev and told him, and then so he was, in this way, though Srila Trivikram Maharaj was a very strict disciplinarian, and he used to argue with Gurudev. We all also, with our own eyes, we've seen them arguing sometimes. But Srila Gurudev always saw him as a Shikshaguru and very loving, and his protector also sometimes. So, in the time came when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj, he wanted to give sannyas to these three, to Sajjan Sevak, Radhanath Das Adhikari, and the Gaur Narayan. So they all said, we are not qualified. We are not qualified to take sannyas. So then, Srila Vaman Maharaj's uncle, Nashinga Maharaj, came to them and he said, look, you cannot, it's not your business to decide if you're qualified or not qualified. What your Gurudev has told you should just do it. So then he gave sannyas and they became Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj.
Nishringa Maharaj was Saraswati Thakur's?
Yes. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's disciple, yes. So today is also the appearance day of Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj. So I just want to say something of the interrelationship of our Gurudev with Srila Vaman Maharaj. So Srila Vaman Maharaj was also born in 1921, and his mother was a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, and she donated him basically to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur at the age of 9. And so he moved into the Math, and he was going to the school, it was the Bhaktivinoda Institute. He was studying there, and he was a very brilliant student, always the top of the class. He had a photographic memory. He was a Shrutidhara. He remembered everything he heard only once, even into his old age. They considered him the Gaudiya encyclopedia. And since his childhood, he was under the guidance of Vinod Brahmachari. So he took Harinam from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, but not Diksha. He was young. And then when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur left this world, there was some fighting, in the Gaudiya Math. And they were split into different parties. And one party accused Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj, Vinod Brahmachari at that time, and his associates of a murder, and they were all arrested and put in jail. So when the police came to arrest Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj and some of his associates, then Sajjan Sevak was there, Srila Vaman Maharaj, but he was only 15 at that time, so they thought, he's a boy, we can't arrest him. And they took the rest and put them in jail. And so now they would not eat the jail food because they're all very strict. So then this young Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari, only 15, had to take care of the mat all by himself. He had to beg things, he had to get the bhoga, he had to do the cooking and bring it to the mat. But he didn't have diksha. And so without diksha you cannot offer to the deities. So Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj gave him diksha through the bars of the prison, so that he could offer the bhog to the deities and bring the prasadam to the jail every day. And he arranged a lawyer and so on. And then it was, when the investigation was made, they were all released because obviously they weren't involved in any murder. It was they were framed. So his diksha from Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj was something quite extraordinary. So from his childhood, he was always, then in the mat, the toilets weren't plumbed in. So the toilet was just a hole with a clay pot. And then, so he used to come every night, and then he used to take out the clay pots with the stool and carry them into the jungle and empty them. At the time of put out all the leaf plates and put out the salt and some lemon as well to change the prakriti of the rice and dal, make it alkaline. And then afterwards he would collect all the plates and clean the floor. So from his childhood he was engaged in so much service. And he was very learned, so Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj engaged him in the printing press, operating the printing press in book publication, Grantha Seva. So one night he was working the whole night printing, and he was tired and a little bit inattentive, and he cut off the end of his fingers in the printing press. And so he was in extreme pain, and Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj came, and when he saw this young boy and how he was working and serving so hard and this accident happened, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj was crying. And he personally took him to Calcutta, and his fingers, the parts were all stitched. And after some time everything grew back and as if there was no injury. If you didn't know there was injury, you could not tell. But it shows the extreme love of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj for Sajjan Sevak Brahmachari. Extreme love. So the three of them were very, very close. Srila Trivikram Maharaj, Srila Vaman Maharaj and our Gurudev. So very, very close. I remember at the time of Brajmandal Parikrama, in the first day of Kartik, Gurudev would be sitting and all the devotees in group Sanatan, Gaudiya Mat in Seva Kunj. And then, having not seen him since Gorpanim time, whatever, 6 months or so, then Srila Trivikram Maharaj arrived from Bengal, walking in with his walking stick. And he would come and then sit on the Vyasasan next to Gurudev. They would give pranam to each other and both would be weeping. Why? Because seeing each other, they were having the spurti in their hearts of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj. How they'd served their Gurudev together for the whole life. When Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesha Maharaj left this world, then they had a vote who would be the next Acharya. So instead of, they were not fighting with each other who could become the next Acharya. They were fighting with each other how to not be the next Acharya. No, you should be the Acharya. No, you should be the Acharya. In the vote, they voted for each other. But in the end, it was decided Srila Vaman Raj was most senior amongst them. So very humbly, he accepted the position of Acharya as service to his Guru and service to his godbrothers. So every year at Gorpanim, the Devananda Gaudiya Mat Parikrama, it was the biggest parikrama that the world had ever seen. You were there. 20,000 people. You cannot see the front of the parikrama party or the back. It disappears off the horizon in both directions. And every year, many people would come on Gorpanim to take initiation from Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj. So early on that morning, knowing that he would have to initiate, Srila Vaman Maharaj used to come to my Gurudev and Srila Trivikram Maharaj and bow down at their feet and say, "Please forgive me for this sinful act." So he was such an Acharya that though he was so senior, though he was so qualified and so realized, he was begging forgiveness from his junior godbrothers, thinking that it was a sinful thing for him to be in the role of Acharya. These Vaishnavas and conditioned souls don't think in the same way. Only by associating with the Vaishnavas, then we can understand something. What is a Vaishnava? I remember once I was with Gurudev. It was in Alachua. So I took prasadam, and after prasadam, something little was left on the plate. I folded up my plate and I put it in the bin of the plates. So then someone came and took it out. Well, I didn't know. Took it out from the bin and opened it up, and then was distributing my remnants to devotees. So then someone became upset with this. Prem Parojan is distributing his remnants. I'm like, I didn't know anything. So Gurudev was upset, and he called me to his room. Tell Prem Parojan he has to go. So I came in the room and I gave pranams. And I didn't know why he called me. He said, "Why are you distributing your remnants?" I said, "What?" If anyone has taken, someone must have taken it out from where they throw the plates, because I don't know, this is the first thing I've heard of this. And then Gurudev said, "Oh, okay," then he became he became Shanti. Then he said, "You see," he said, "Anacharya may do it." He said, "But I am not an acharya. My Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav, he is acharya. Srila Bhakti Stanso Thakur, he is acharya. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is acharya. So I am not acharya. I am not qualified. I never give my remnant to any. I say, Gurudev, I take a remnant every day." He said, no, I don't give my remnant. That's from the pots. From the pots in the kitchen. And so then I was thinking, but your drumsticks that you have chewed and spat out, I chewed them. But I didn't say anything. Because he was convinced that his remnants didn't go to anyone. But anyway, Srila Maharaj and others, right? Yes. We anyway, by hook or by crook, we used to get. But in his mind, he was saying, I never give my remnant to anyone, because I am not an acharya, like my Gurudev and his Gurudev. Then he said, he was quiet for some time. He said, "But now I am old, so I have to play this role." This was his mood. Extremely humble. Extremely humble. Once one person, maybe you know him, his legal name is Mansbro, and he was doing a PhD at a university in Scandinavia. So he traveled all over India, and he was interviewing different gurus. And then later the book came, it was called As Good as God. And he was interviewing, not Gaudiya Gurus, all types of gurus in all types of sects and sampradayas. So he came to Vrindavan. He asked me, "Can you arrange a meeting with your guru? Because I have some questions." I said, "Let me look at the questions." I saw the questions. I thought, okay, this will be interesting. Because the kind of questions that a disciple would not usually be too nervous or too shy to ask the guru. So then I said, "Yes, of course." So I arranged it. And Gurudev was sitting in Sevakunj by the painting, where in Sevakunj, the original Sevakunj painting. And there was a few devotees sitting on one side. So then that student came, and with his questions he said, so first he said, "So tell me, how do you know that your guru is bona fide?" He's asking our Gurudev, how does he know that Parama Gurudev is bona fide guru? Gurudev said, "If you will take your life in your hands and offer it at the feet of your guru and serve for 50 or 60 years, then you can realize how your guru is bona fide. First you live like me, then you can answer this question." Srila Trivikram Maharaj used to glorify Gurudev. He used to say, "Of all of us, you are the one. You gave took your life in your hands. You are ready to die in the service of your Gurudev." So then he noted it down. Then he said, So, what made you decide to become a guru? So then he said, Gurudev said, I am not a guru. And Appa said, but who are all these disciples here then? Gurudev said, they are not my disciples. They are my friends. And together we are making an atmosphere which is favorable for bhajan. So then he said, so when you go to Goloka Vrindavan, then who will be the next guru after you? So Gurudev heard the first part of the sentence and he was jolted by that. It seems as if he didn't hear the second part of the sentence. He said, I will not go to Goloka Vrindavan. He said, but if in my next life I can become a blade of grass on the bank of Jamuna, so when the Vaishnavas are doing parikrama, I can get their foot dust, then it will be great success for me. When Srila Gurudev had travelled all over the world and his preaching was so very successful everywhere. So charming, he was so brilliant. I remember once, some persons, they were doing some impersonal meditation. And they asked, they said, can you tell us what you think of TM? He just said, TM, MT. Like this, it's speaking always in a miraculous and beautiful way. And then when he became older, then he had these pastimes of illness. Several episodes were there. We thought he may leave, or he may stay, or he may leave again. In this way, he was increasing the attachment of all the disciples. So, one time, one sannyasi came to him. I'm not going to say who it was. And he said, when you leave, who will be the next acharya? Gurudev smiled, he said, you. And this person, it was very unlikely. So then that person said, can I have that in writing? So then Gurudev, his response was very beautiful. He said, I appear to be an acharya or the head of an institution, like whatever, Bhaktivedanta Samiti or International Pure Bhakti Yoga Society. But that is your vision, not my vision. He said, I am like Shukadev Goswami. When Parikshit Maharaj was about to leave this world, he had 7 days left to live. Miraculously, out of nowhere, no one knows where he came from, Shukadev Goswami appeared there, naked. And he sat down and he spoke the katha to the right person at the right time when it was needed. And when he finished speaking, he got up and he walked away and no one knows where he went. He said, so I am like Shukadev Goswami. I have come here, I am speaking katha and I am leaving. He said, do you think Shukadev Goswami was thinking, who will be the next acharya after me? No, it did not come in his mind at all. Good, I am like that. So, then, the last time when it came towards the final pastimes of Srila Gurudev, actually a few years before, he was in Puri at the birthplace of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. He was sitting down, I was at his feet with a few other devotees. He said, for 50 years, I have preached the glories of Prahlad Maharaj, the glories of Dhruva Maharaj, the glories of Ambarish Maharaj, the glories of Chitraketu Maharaj, he said, but now I am speaking why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world. What it is, he is Manobishta, Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam, Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadabhayam, Dadati Swapadantikam. That was manifested by Srila Rupa Goswami, Radha Dasyam, the glories of Radhika and her eternal service in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. And those who will be with me in my final days, they will attain it. So Srila Gurudev spoke these things. That Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur in his final days, he was saying, I wanted to tell all of this, but I spent so much time cutting jungles. But you should dedicate your life to this. So our Srila Gurudev, he was fulfilling the desire of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And it's very gambhir, profound, shocking. Many people could not understand it. For example, once at the disappearance festival of Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, in Krishna Balaram Mandir, Gurudev was giving a lecture there. And he said, what is the glory of your Srila Prabhupada? The glory is not that he has spread Sankirtan everywhere and distributed so many books and made so many temples and so many disciples. Srila Prabhupada himself, he used to say that I want only one moon. What is the use of many stars? Ekas chandras tamohanti na tara sahasrasaha. One moon can illuminate the sky and dispel the darkness, but thousands of stars are unable to do it. So he used to say, I want. So what is the glory of Srila Prabhupada? What is the glory of the great acharyas in our line? The glory is that they are the servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world and he has the external cause of his appearance and internal cause of his appearance. So the external cause of his appearance is the Yuga Dharma, spreading the Harinam Sankirtan and preaching everywhere. And the internal cause, we were discussing yesterday, the identity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the necessity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to complete the Prem Leela of Radha and Krishna. So Gurudev said that just as when Krishna comes into this world, it looks like he's killing demons, but it's Mahavishnu in Krishna who is killing the demons. Why does Krishna come? Prema rasa nirjas karite ashwadahan raga marga bhakti loke karite pracharam, to relish prema rasa, and incidentally also opens the path of raga marg. So in the same way, Gurudev said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela is like this. Who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Gurudev said, we know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did so many pastimes. But many of these pastimes, it is Mahavishnu in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is doing this. Just like Krishna killing the demons. And he gave examples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has delivered Prakashananda Saraswati. And he is 60,000 sannyas disciples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has defeated Keshav Kashmiri in the debate. He has delivered Jaga and Madai. He has converted the Chankazi. All of these this is the Mahavishnu within Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What we told yesterday is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who next to Krishna, Radha Krishna, is like this. He can be there with them. So that is Rasaraj Mahabhav, Sri Krishna. So there are many persons, they're worshipping Mahaprabhu, but they're worshipping Mahavishnu. And in the same way, he said, if you are worshipping Srila Prabhupada, telling he's great only because he has distributed books and made so many disciples and opened so many temples, without going into the Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam, the Manobishta, savor of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you are not really worshipping Prabhupada, the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but you are worshipping as a servant of Mahavishnu, so it's actually diminishing his glory. So many persons who could not digest, they became up in arms. And some persons willfully misunderstood as well. But how merciful he was to open the door to the ocean of Bhakti Rasa. So when Srila Gurudev, this last time he was in Baja festival in California, he said, this is the last time I will come here, because he knew what he was coming. And he went back to India, and then from India, then the last place he went outside of India was, he stopped in Dubai. You know, I'm going to Dubai twice, 2-3 times every year. That house. It was the last place he stayed outside of India, and that was on his way to Moscow. He did Moscow festival, then he came back to that house in Dubai, where I'm going all the time. I'm going there on my way in and out of India. Was his last place, and then he came back to India. And when he was in India, he went to Nepal, preaching in Nepal, and there is a Janakpuri. So it's most sweet that from his childhood he had such love for Sitaram, but he'd never been to Janakpuri, which is the Sita's place, her father's kingdom. And so when he was in his very old and his very last pastimes, he went there to Janakpuri, and when he was giving a speech there, he said that now I have finally come to this place. My whole life I wanted to have darshan of this place. Gurudev used to say, Keshava Trita Raghupati Rupa Jai Jagadisha. His love is for Radha Krishna, but Radha Krishna there. Janaka Sutta Krita Bhushana Jita Dushana He Shamara Shamita Dashakanta Jai Jaya Devhari Radhe Krishna Govinda Gopala Nanda Dulala Yashoda Dulala Jaya Jaya Devhari. Sitaram, they are the Vilas Vigraha of Radha and Krishna. So he said, now after my whole life I finally had the darshan of this place, and now I have completed my Tirtha Yatra. All the holy places in India I have been. So my Tirtha Yatra is complete. And what I came to this world to preach, it has been preached. I have done it. So now my mission is completed. So he was giving a hint that soon he would leave. So then he came to Braja, and he was at Govardhan, and it was Kartik time. Perhaps many of you were there. And during Kartik is the disappearance day of Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. So Gurudev had said, I will disappear on Srila Vaman Maharaj's day. So when the disappearance day in Kartik came, and he was very, very manifesting the Leela of being very ill, he was not moving, he was not eating. It was an old devotees doing kirtan all day and night and praying, please stay with us. And now the time came, this is the day he said he would leave, and that day passed and he hadn't left. And afterwards he actually got up, opened his eyes, and again he was talking. What is this? It's a great miracle. And his health became somewhat better, and then he went to Jagannath Puri. And then he said, I will leave on Srila Vamaraj's day, but he didn't tell us which day. We thought the disappearance day. And then this day came, the appearance day of Srila Vaman Maharaj. And there, at Chakratirtha, in the very place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Jagannath Dev appeared from the ocean. On this day, Srila Gurudev, in the form of Raman Manjari, entered into the Nitya Leela of Sri Sri Radha. So Srila Gurudev used to say that the disciple who has served his Guru in his life, he will, to the degree to which he has served Gurudev, to that degree he will feel separation. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, Shunyayate Mahagostam Girindro Jagarayate Vyagratundaite Kundam Jivatu Rahitasame. Because Raghunath Das Goswami served so much Rupa Goswami, after he disappeared, then he used to weep. Oh, this Brajamandal, I have written Brajavilas stuff. So many verses glorifying all the places in Braj. But now without Rupa Goswami, the whole of Brajmandal is shunya, like an empty, desolate wasteland. Garindro Jagarayate. I have prayed to Giraj Govardhan, Nijanikatanibasam Dehi Govardhanatam. Nija Pati Bujadanda Chatrabhavam Prapadya Pratihadamadristadanda Devendagava Atula Pratula Shaila Shaini Bupa Priyamme Nijanikatanibasam Dehi Govardhan. But now I cannot bear to even look at Govardhan. Garindro Jagarayate, when I see Govardhan, it seems to be like the mouth of a python about to devour me. So painful. And I have prayed to Radhakund, glorifying Radhakund. Tadati Surabhira Radhakundame Vastrayome. But now I cannot bear to look at Radhakund. It seems to be like the gaping mouth of a tiger, eating me alive. Why? Because of separation. Oh, Rupa Goswami, I cannot live without you. So this day is the Viraha Mahotsav, day of separation. And those who have served their Gurudev, the degree to which they have served, they can experience that supernatural, transcendental separation on this day. So Viraha means separation, but Vi means Vishesh, intense, and Raha means confidential meeting. So separation is not to be separated. It is apparent, physical separation. But Viraha Mahotsav means the great enthusiasm which arises in our bhajan by a very confidential and secret loving meeting with Gurudev in the heart. That is the true celebration of Viraha Mahotsav. Nitilila Paristom Vishnupara Stodara Sadasishima Drupanuga Charivarishla Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nitilila Paristom Vishnupara Stodara Sadasishima Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Gaura Premanande.
With your permission, I want to sing.
Yes, of course.
Jaya Nilo. You did already? Oh, I didn't know. I wasn't here when you said it. Okay.
Oh, but let's do Guru Puja. All Aarti Parvan, can you sing Shri Guru Charana Padma?
Okay.
Everyone can stand and everyone can offer flower, Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of Gurudev during the Aarti. Guru Puja.